Jealousy, envy, ego, and pettiness. That's what the WNBA has become. Here we go again with the Chicago Sky and Angel Reese. After the game, they all claimed racism. Racism in the building. The Chicago Sky, they're the boy that cried wolf. I don't buy any of it. Caitlin Clark knows that every little thing that she does or is involved in is going to be blown up. I call them exactly like I would call an NBA team. Get ready, because the both won't stop with the Chicago Sky. You know what? At some point, the WNBA is going to have a problem. Let me explain something to you. Welcome. It is Don't At Me. I am Dan Dakich. Davey Hudson's going to be joining me here in a little bit. But, here's the deal. Can I just throw this out to you? The NBA funds the WNBA, and I am one of the only people in America, I guess I'm in the media, of course I consider myself an entertainer, that treats the WNBA like a real league. I'm one of the few people that doesn't pander to the African-American lesbian crowd. I'm not one of those that panders, they're nice little girls, leave them alone. No, I call them exactly like I would call an NBA team. Angel Reese lost her mind and went all bat blank crazy on Clark after a smart foul, which I don't know if I blame her or not. I don't know. It showed her Jeep tendencies. That's right. In the words of our friend who's joining the show, Michael Thompson Jeep, let's go through it. Jealousy, envy, ego, and pettiness. That's what the WNBA has become. Everybody, of course, is losing their mind. And to make it worse, here we go again with the Chicago Sky and Angel Reese. After the game, they all claimed racism. Racism in the building. We were subject to racial slurs. So wait a second, and I say this all the time, and if I'm wrong, I'll certainly come back tomorrow and apologize. But you're telling me in an era of smartphones, in an era where cameras are everywhere, in an era where microphones are everywhere, somebody in the great state of Indiana, whether they're imported or a native, is going to start yelling racial slurs onto the court. Now, racial slurs have no place anywhere, but you're telling me they're going to yell it loud enough through a really loud building that the players are hearing it? Really? I remember it wasn't so long ago last year when the Chicago Sky made up being harassed going into a hotel after an incident with Caitlin Clark. And it was one dude asking one lady a question. The Chicago Sky, no, they're the boy that cried wolf. I don't buy any of it. No, I don't buy any of it. Now, let's set the scenario and we'll get into this. Clark, after Reese, smartly shoved off, got a rebound. Clark nailed her, knocked her on her ass. Now, of course, that's offensive to Angel Reese because, I don't know, pretty good basketball play. Excessive, maybe a little anger in there from Clark, possibly. Reese reacted, and, hey, I'm not mad at that. You want to react to a hard foul by fighting? Let's just put him in a ring and throw hands. But let's listen to Caitlin Clark's interview after the foul, during the game.
Walk me through your perspective on the flagrant foul, and what was the point you were trying to make to her?
It's just a good take foul, If either Angel gets wide open 2 points or, we send him to the free throw line. Nothing malicious about it. It's just a good take foul. Every basketball player knows that.
She ain't wrong. I mean, what are you going to do? Let let Angel Reese miss another layup? No, maybe you should. Yeah, it's take foul, no big deal. I thought it was hard. And again, I treat this league like normal people. 99% of people treat this league like they're, on some type of assistance. They are. But in terms of the players, I like Lynn Dunn. I like Stephanie White. I know these women. I respect the hell out of them as basketball people. So I treat the league as such. Yes, it is a take foul. And yes, Caitlin Clark, I know you're the angel in all this, but you fouled her hard. Whether there was something behind it or not, I don't know, nor do I care. If there was, good. If there wasn't, good. Doesn't matter. Reese reacted. She got pissed. And the world loses its mind. Caitlin Clark, after the game, had to discuss it. And she's right when she says this. She says, let's not make it more than it is. Oh, that ship's passed, honey.
I got the tech.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
first of
no.
all,
I know.
let's not make it anything that it's not. It was just a good play on the basketball. I'm not sure what the refs saw to upgrade it, and that's up to their discretion after watching the initial whatever happened during the play and then whatever happened after. We watch a lot of basketball. It's a take foul to put them at the free throw line or rather give up 2 points. I've watched a lot of basketball in my life. That's exactly what it was. I wasn't trying to do anything malicious. That's not the type of player I am. So, yes, it wasn't anything like that. And I went for the ball, and that's clear as day in the replay. You watch it. It shouldn't have been upgraded. But, again, that's up to the ref's discretion. But I appreciate AB having my back. I guess I don't even know what she did. I didn't see that.
Yeah, well, girl.
Have fun paying that fine.
Can I get half? Can you send me a
I got it.
Oh,
Don't
perfect.
worry.
I wonder
Real
if you
hefty.
could.
Yeah, I mean, Aaliyah Boston wants to act like a little child. I mean, what are you doing, Aaliyah Boston? And good for Caitlin Clark. She's like, yeah, settle down, because Caitlin Clark knows what's coming. Aaliyah Boston can act. I don't even know what that was she was doing, acting like a 2-year-old, right? Like a child. And Caitlin Clark actually acted like the mother. Okay, calm down. Let's not make it more than it is. These women, man, I got to tell you, they're jeez. Anyway, but Caitlin Clark rises up and is the star through all of that. But good for Aaliyah Boston. She had her back. But Caitlin Clark knows, let's make no mistake about it, Caitlin Clark knows that every little thing that she does or is involved in is going to be blown up. And Caitlin Clark also knows that the barnacle on her ass, Angel Reese, is always got something going. Always. Now, RG3 had to step in. Good for RG3. He actually said something right here. He said Angel Reese legitimately hates Caitlin Clark. There's no question. Jealousy, envy. Jealousy and envy. Pettiness. Oh, ego. It's jealousy and envy because of ego. Now here is RG3 putting his 2 cents in.
So where was this type of reaction last year when Angel Reese got chokeslammed by Alyssa Thomas of the Connecticut Sun? Y'all remember that? She got fouled so hard, they kicked Aaliyah Thomas out the game with a flagrant 2 foul. What did Angel Reese do? Nothing. She didn't get up and try to swing on her. You know why? The reaction was different because of who did it. And there is a lot of history there with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. You guys remember last year when Angel Reese celebrated Kennedy Carter getting that flagrant foul on the hip check against Caitlin Clark? You remember that? On the sideline, just, yeah, baby, get her, you get her. Who celebrates like that for a flagrant foul on another player if they don't dislike that player? Okay, you want some more evidence? Here's some more evidence. Remember last year when they were talking about who gets the credit for the expansion and the eyeballs and the popularity boost of women's basketball? Not just the WNBA, but women's basketball in general, because of the spike in the women's NCAA tournament and WNBA viewership. A lot of people were attributing that to Caitlin Clark, and rightfully so. This is what Angel Reese had to say, and I quote, "People are talking about women's basketball. You never would think they'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to the games. We got celebrities coming to the games, sold out arenas just because of one single game. Just looking at that, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on to be that for my teammates. I know I'll go down in history. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, the reason we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me, too. I want y'all to realize that." Now, I heard a lot of people say that I or others have made Angel Reese the villain. Did you not just hear herself call herself the bad guy? She called herself the villain. I'm not making her the villain. She's making herself the villain.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong at all. I've said this before, and I'll say this again. She wanted to be the villain, and then she cried about being the villain. Angel Reese. She wanted to be the sex symbol, wearing all these whatever and showing her ass, and then cried about having to be that. I don't know whether the woman is mentally unstable, mentally stable. This is a show. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. I don't care. But it's getting tiring. And that's the thing. That's the thing that I'm saying. It's just getting tiring. And now fans booed in Gainbridge Arena, and now it's racist. Where the NBA, the WNBA, and the Pacers, the Fever, had to put out a statement because Angel Reese and her ilk, the players, the coaches of the Sky. You always got to be real careful here when you say her ilk. It's the players and the coaches. You know what I mean? I know the race baiters are out there. They got their little pen in their clipboard and they can't wait. No. Her ilk, her team, just like they did last year, lying about an interaction outside a hotel. They're lying about this. Now, as I said, if I'm wrong, if somebody steps up and has audio that proves there were racial slurs, I'll condemn that person. I'll crush that person for a racial slur. There's no place for it. But there's no way we can believe the Chicago Sky. They're full of liars. They did it last year. And frankly, RG3 is 100% correct. Now, Torrey Smith is doing the typical. That's a reckless statement, assuming that someone hates the other, considering how racist folks have been. Nobody's been racist. She's made more money off this bullshit than anybody. She doesn't hate her. Of course she hates her. Hates her bad. Whoever Torrey Smith is, I guess he's a football guy. He doesn't hate her. How do you know? If she did, she would say, oh, really? Sure she would. She is authentic and a competitor. Saying she doesn't like her wouldn't be the end of the world. There's a big difference between I don't like her as a competitor, Torrey Smith, and deep down Jeep, as Michael Thompson said. Deep down jealousy, envy, ego, and pettiness. And boy, oh boy, does Angel Reese have it. Angel Reese legitimately, and I'll be a psychologist here, has a thing. A deep-seated resentment. I don't know about hate. A deep-seated resentment. And RG3 couldn't be more right. Yeah, all this racist directed at her. Really? Where? Any racism directed at Angel Reese is probably 90% made up by Angel Reese. We've seen it. Look, I don't consider, well, maybe I should, I don't know. I don't consider death threats to me real, and I get them all the time. I don't consider the racist agents comments that I get, bald-headed white dude, I don't, it by faceless, nameless people. I'm talking about real stuff by real people. It's amazing all of a sudden now, the Chicago Sky lose, and the entire crowd's racist. Oh, my God. Bullshit. Total bullshit. This is when Michael Thompson blessed us with the Jeep saying. This is Michael Thompson, former number one pick, father of Clay, on our show.
Well, they don't like Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, I've been noticing, I've been following her career since she was a sophomore at Iowa, and I recognized how different she was, how different she played the game. She played the game like Steph Curry. We had never seen a woman play like that before. And I knew once she got further along in her career in college, I used to tell all my colleagues who are not into women's basketball, I say, hey, man, you got to check out this girl at Iowa, man. She shoots from the logo. She shoots from almost half court. She's different. And I was trying to emphasize her for about a year. Then he finally caught on. And men who travel with us in our traveling party who are basically anti-women's basketball, just didn't care for it, didn't want to talk about it, had no interest in it at all. All of a sudden, they started watching Caitlin Clark and got intrigued by her, and they became fans of her and her game. And now that she's in the WNBA, man, I tell you, she needs a Jeep endorsement, a commercial, because Jeep is an acronym that I've come up with of the way she has been treated and not welcomed into the WNBA. Jeep, the acronym is JEEP, and that stands for jealousy, envy, egos, and pettiness. Jeep.
He ain't wrong. He ain't wrong at all. I mean, Jeep is not just a truck or car anymore. Jeep is an acronym. Oh, man, get ready because the bullshit won't stop with the Chicago Sky. Speaking of the bullshit won't stop, Emmanuel Acho, founder of Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, which basically meant I'm going to sell some books telling you white people what the world is really about without actually getting into uncomfortable conversations like murder rates, things of that issue. But I digress. He got cooked by Kevin Durant on X after the NBA star called out Acho over his truly awful, stupid take that the Boston Celtics match up better against the Knicks without Jason Tatum. Now, I don't know what the final ended up being, but let's just say it ended up being 50 in Game 6. It did. Durant's comments clearly struck a nerve with the sensitive TV host as Acho lashed out on national TV to offer up his rebuttal. We got beef! We got beef! Here's Acho at his asinine take.
Because I want to go as far as to say the Boston Celtics match up better versus the New York Knicks without Jason Tatum than they do with Jason Tatum. Not because of talent.
Break that down.
Not because of talent, exclusively because of mindset. I believe that a team is a reflection of its leader. Jason Tatum is the leader of the Boston Celtics. They are an incredible team, an incredibly talented team, but they are not as tough a team. There was a moment, James Jones, there were 7 minutes, 45 seconds left in the game. The Celtics were up by maybe 18 points. Jason Tatum in this moment where Jaylen Brown is, he would have shot the three. Instead, Jaylen Brown, he pumps, he drives, he dishes, dunks. And now what goes on to be a 21-point game would have probably been, if Jason Tatum is out there, I believe a three, you might miss the three and it ends up going the other way. Now, the reason I'm showing y'all this.
You can't argue with this kind of stupid. I mean, I get it. He's on TV. He's got, all his bullshit, but you can't argue with this kind of stupid. Like, they just won a world championship last year. They just won it. There's nothing you can say that argues with this kind of Acho. We're going to start calling it Acho stupid. Honest to God. Hot take artists is from Kevin Durant have ruined the sport. Football guys, no disrespect, but y'all boys need to stay in your lanes. You don't know what it's like to be between these lines, man. Give it a break. Dudes who quit football early to pursue media talk and mental toughness, cut it out. Yeah, it's not only that. It's just, it's just Acho stupid. Let's hear more Acho stupid.
Let me address several things. Number one, let me give respect where respect is necessary to be given. Kevin Durant is a top 15 basketball player of all time. So let's make that abundantly clear that Kevin Durant is one of the greatest to have ever laced up sneakers and graced a basketball court ever. But here is where I would suggest several things are wrong and several things are conflated. Number one, I do think individuals who did not play the sport have an ability to articulate their thoughts on a sport if they give it the necessary respect that it deserves. I believe that, not just football talking about basketball, not just basketball talking about football. I think far too often we make the mistake of the appeal to authority fallacy. And what that very simply put is that we have to believe that someone is an expert on something just because they said so. If your rich neighbor tells you to invest in a stock and you ask them why, well, because I'm rich, duh, when they do not give you any supporting evidence. Now, the claim that I am making in regards to the Boston Celtics that I do not want to be conflated is very, very, very simple. I believe that Jaylen Brown plays a tougher brand of basketball than Jason Tatum. I do not think that the Celtics are a better team without Jason Tatum than they are with Jason Tatum. I believe that they match up better against the New York Knicks with Jaylen Brown as a leader than with Jason Tatum as a leader because Jaylen Brown plays a tougher brand of basketball than Jason Tatum. Not to say that he is a better player, but he plays a tougher brand of basketball. Now, I do not think it is a coincidence that Kevin Durant is the one who drew issue with my statement because Kevin Durant has always objected to being a leader. This is not my opinion. Look at Kevin Durant's words. In November of 2017, again, viewers at home, I always do my homework. That's what you have to do when you're a backup professional athlete. Kevin Durant said in a GQ article in 2017 when he joined the Golden State Warriors, I don't want to have to be a leader. I'm not a leader. I'm bad at saying, stand behind me and follow me. See, I would suggest that Kevin Durant, he objects to the notion that the team reflects the demeanor of the best player. Because if Kevin Durant were to accept the reality that a team often reflects the demeanor of the best player, then he would have to honor that truth by his actions. Kevin Durant, one of the best players in the history of the game of basketball, like I have stated several times throughout the course of this take. But you do have to remember that Kevin Durant won a championship with the Golden State Warriors, not by coincidence, but because that team already had leaders at play in Draymond Green, in Steph Curry, in Klay Thompson. When Kevin Durant has had to lead a team, not just by his actions, but when he has had to lead a team by his words, when he has had to galvanize a team to a championship like with the Phoenix Suns, You saw they came up short. I don't even think that they made the playoffs this year. I do not think it is a coincidence that Kevin Durant objects to my take, because Kevin Durant isn't objecting to Emmanuel Acho's take. Kevin Durant is objecting to the truth that a team reflects the demeanor of the best player. And Kevin Durant, you have often been the best player. But when the team reflects your demeanor as the best player, where has that team gotten to? But when you get to join a super team like the Golden State Warriors, obviously you win championships and you become a multiple-time Finals MVP.
I thought nobody could be more useless to listen to than Stephen A. Smith. Bingo, we got a new leader. Look, the bottom line, it has nothing to do with Kevin Durant's leadership. It has to do with an idiotic statement that got proven to be idiotic. But because Jaylen Brown goes to the basket one time doesn't mean he's a tougher basketball player than Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum goes to the basket just fine. Look, the proof is in the pudding. The Celtics without Jason Tatum got beat by 1,000 when toughness truly mattered, and that was in the Garden. You're going to win first game out. We all say it all the time. You're going to win first game out without a star player, or when a star player comes back, or even a role player comes back. They always play the first game great. That's what being in the sport a long time teaches you. But the idea that Jason Tatum's Celtics were going to be better without him, well, you can speak as fast as this guy, whoever this guy is, spoke. You can do your Stephen A. Smith impression if you would like, but the truth of the matter is they got their ass whipped. So it's really a non-plus. It's really a non-starter. You know, I always say this about sports. We got all of us on TV, and this is where I don't really celebrate being a media member, or I'd rather be a doer than a talker about, but you get to a certain age and that's over. But at least you got to have some sense when you speak. And frankly, it all comes out in the end. This is what I've said forever. Sports is awesome. Why? There's a scoreboard. And media there is not. Acho thinks he got over on Durant because of that long-winded, nonsensical speech. But the truth of the matter, if there was a scoreboard, it would be Durant 1, Acho nothing, because, well, the game was played. The Celtics beat their ass. Got their ass beat without Jason Tatum. I don't care how Jaylen Brown went to the rim. Yay. Man, I got to tell you, the world, as I no wonder I'm a dominant force in this industry. Seriously, my God. I mean, you can speak all you want, but the truth of the matter is they played the game. Durant was right. Wasn't even close. Former Bengals quarterback and star of talk radio, and I like him, Boomer Esiason, although I've never met him, snapped on Bears quarterback Caleb Williams after reports came out that the former USC star initially tried everything in his power to avoid being selected by the Bears. I said this the other day. I ain't mad at anybody who doesn't want to be selected by the Bears at quarterback. The Bears, the Chicago Bears, have Sid Luckman currently having some type quarterback records. Luckman played before I was even born. The level of entitlement is breathtaking. Keep your pie hole shut and go out and play football and earn your keep and earn your respect. That's what Esiason said. No, I disagree with Esiason, but I like Boomer. Let's hear it.
When you think about this, I think a lot of these kids and their parents are nowadays, and that the level of entitlement is breathtaking, and it's no wonder why he failed initially, and it's no wonder why the coach got fired. So now they go out and get an offensive coach in Ben Johnson, and you know what? Now it's on his ass. It's going to be on his ass to live up to these so-called lofty expectations that he has for himself and that his father has for his son. You know, and I understand, you know, that there could be a discussion, hey, this is where quarterbacks go to die. Well, you know, go fix it. Be the reason that the team is going to turn it around, and you be the player that you think you are. And I would just tell them, you know, just keep your mouth shut. You're going into the greatest league that there's ever been for the sport that we all love. You're going to have a chance one day to make $500 million because guys like me and guys before me all went on strike so you could actually make more money. So keep your pie hole shut and go out and play football and earn your keep and earn your respect.
Yes, all of it, yes. However, I would say this, just because a book comes out detailing what the family tried to do and what the family thought, There's nothing wrong with that. The Mannings did it, and everybody yucks up to the Mannings. No. What Carl Williams, Caleb Williams' dad, and Caleb thought didn't actually put in place is right. You go to Chicago, you die as a quarterback. I don't care. You absolutely die. History dictates it. I mean, Jay Cutler was the latest, and I don't want to hear about, this coach got fired because of you. No. That coach got fired because that coach should never have been hired in the first place. Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus was a train wreck, and I told you this, and it came out later, that was going to get fired by the Colts. My wife grew up with him, love him, nice guy, all that. Horse shit. He is a myth. He was a media creation. And I said that going in. I told Swaddle and Sylvia, our boys in Chicago, that. It had nothing to do with Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams' family was not wrong for questioning whether or not they should go to Chicago. Not wrong even a second, even a little bit. You had to question it. I mean, why do the Mannings always get a pass? Because they're old Manning, they're old Southern gentleman, white guy, and Archie sucks off the tit of the NFL for hundreds of years. Is that what it is? Why do the Mannings get a pass? It's bullshit. Caleb Williams, all right, 62.5%, 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 10 fumbles, a rookie on a horseshit team ran by a horseshit coach that they got out of here. And Boomer is right. He's absolutely right. Now it is on you. Now you're a little bit older. Now you've got an offensive coordinator in there, the new boy genius, Ben Johnson. Okay, but don't get mad at a family for looking at this and going, wait a second. This has not worked out at quarterback for anybody going back to Jack Concannon and Bob Avellini and Gary Huff. Hell, even Jim McMahon, the only guy to ever lead them anywhere, he and Rex Grossman are considered side notes. Rex Grossman's like a punchline for leading a team to a Super Bowl. I mean, it's bullshit, but that's Chicago. No. I will side without question, I will side with the Williams here. Chicago is where Yass goes to die. Period. Love you, Boomer. Bullshit. Here we go. See that? Knicks, Pacers, Eastern Conference Finals. See, in my rundown here, hey, Davey, nobody celebrates the Pacers. The Knicks are back in the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2000. Who the hell does this rundown? Where we at? Where's Nick? I'm throwing hands. The Pacers are back in the Eastern Conference Finals since when? Since when, Nick? Last year, baby. Last year, Davey. No respect. Don't care. New York bias. Suck it, all of you.
Dan, congrats. Did you have fun Friday night?
No. What did I do Friday night? No, I was sick. You know what I did Friday night?
Oh, the Pacers won.
I said, did they play Friday night? I can't remember.
Pretty sure, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm looking around the room. Everybody's just like, what? I guess to your point, Dan, since no one in this room, there's 5 people I'm staring at, and none of them even know if that game happened on Friday night. I'm pretty sure it was Friday night. It kind of goes to your point about the Pacers. Hey, man, I'm all for the small market teams finally having their moment in the sun.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Finally, we were in the finals last year. What do you mean finally? And beat the Knicks ass last year.
I meant the Knicks-Celtics game was Friday. Pacers was what? Thursday, I believe.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting my days mixed up. Been a long weekend, but no, like Dan, I'm with you. Like if you look at the smaller market teams, they're generally not getting the love. But I think this is going to be a great matchup. You know, you go back to the days of old. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a blast to watch.
Yeah, it is. All right, here's the next thing. Listen to this. I don't know that I care about this. I don't know that I don't. So I'm going to ask you, Davey, if you care about this. I don't know where I'm at with this woke douchebag who I used to kind of sort of like. Now, full disclosure, here's the deal with Springsteen. I'm going to give you the deal with Springsteen. This was told to me by a very dorky media guy about 20 years or 15 years ago when I got into media. He said, look at this. All dorky newspaper guys, radio guys love Springsteen. I'm like, why do they love Springsteen? He said, liking Springsteen makes them cool. And he goes, look, I'm the friend of mine. He says, I'm the dorkiest guy alive, but I like Springsteen so that it makes me think I'm cool. All right. So Springsteen subjected his paying customers in Manchester, effing England, to an anti-Trump rant before carrying on with his concert. Kid Rock and President Trump had issues in the response, and they did not disappoint. All right, let's go through this. Hold on. Let's go through this. In my home, the American I love, the American I've written about, that has become a beacon of hope and liberty for 250 years, it is currently in the hands of a corrupt, incompetent, treasonous administration. That's what Springsteen shouted to his crew. The last checks on power and the checks and balances on government have failed, and the people, you and me, it's the union of people around a common set of values. Now all that stands between democracy and authoritarianism. So at the end of the day, all we've really got is each other. Let me ask you a question, Davey. I'm missing something. What? Let's put our brain on the other side, on the Springsteen side. If we were thinking like Springsteen, what's he talking about? What's the bitch about here from liberals? I don't see the big bitch here. What's the problem?
As far as the problem, Dan, you look at all these Hollywood elites or these famous musicians at times, they don't understand the ordinary person. They live in their own bubble to where I can't get in the mindset of how they process the information this way. It doesn't make sense. They don't get to see how the average person, the average American, goes through their daily life. I find it confusing. I mean, this isn't off-brand for Springsteen. He's always had this approach, especially when it comes to politics.
What's the authoritarian? Here's what I see. I see illegal immigration, which was a massive problem, even in India, and I've documented it on this show, basically down to nothing. I've seen Doge expose and reduce where our tax money goes. All right. I've seen judges go against Trump and judges go at, and Trump go at those judges. Is that the biggest issue here? Because the economy, your 401k, all that's bouncing back. But is the biggest issue kind of a made-up issue of Trump going against judges who have ruled against him? Would that be the side liberals are willing to die on?
They'll definitely take that side, and that's the hill right there. The other thing with when you look at this, like, everybody's always able to just they get tunnel vision, and so they're able to just pinpoint one thing that they want to make that their entire cause, and that's all they focus on. They don't ever look at it from a 30,000-foot point of view. They never can see the trees for the forest. It's one of those things to where we're going to continue to get this mindset from people like Springsteen, and it's one of those things, man. I'd say if you like his music, enjoy his music, but you're going to continue to get these types of takes. It's just who he is, as stupid as the comments may be.
All right, here's Kid Rock bouncing back against Springsteen.
Well, what do you think of that?
Garbage. TDS at the highest level. I mean, he's over there creating peace in the Middle East. One of the places that could possibly erupt and send the world into turmoil. And he's over there getting it done. Not only, getting great deals for our country, which I've told everybody. I got people at high levels working in the financial world. Right. And when he's doing that stuff, they're all freaking out. I'm like, just give him a minute. I'm like, this guy does not know how to lose, period. Gets up every morning. I mean, busts his ass for this country. Thank God for him and his administration.
Yeah, Davey, that's the thing. That's where I always go. I'm like, wait a second here. Like, I don't get it. I'm trying to get the other side. I am. I'm trying to get the other side. I always want to know the other side. And other than getting pissed off because he came back at a couple judges, they always say corrupt and racist and a Nazi and all this bullshit. And I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't. I'm struggling with it. I am. Here's Trump. Here's Trump's response. His response to it. I guess we got it up here. Let's have a look. Oh, boy. I see that highly overrated. I love that he throws in that crap, Davey. He got to throw in the highly overrated. Goes to a foreign country to speak bad about the President of the United States. Never liked him, never liked his music or his radical left politics. More important, he's not a talented guy, just a pushy, obnoxious jerk who feverishly supported Crooked Joe, a mentally incompetent fool. Unbelievable. And our worst ever president who came close to destroying our country. If it wasn't elected, it would have been gone by now. Sleepy Joe didn't have a clue as to what he was doing, but Springsteen is dumb as a rock, couldn't see what was going on. Or could he, which is even worse, this dried out prune of a rocker, his skin is all atrophied, ought to keep his mouth shut until he gets back in the country. That's just standard fare. Then we'll see how far it goes for him. I don't know. Davey, I'm not right. I know I'm not right, but I kind of dig when he throws in the overrateds. I don't know. I just kind of laugh about it. It's just so beneath the office of a president, but I don't care. I'm digging it.
It is, Dan, but I like the comedic touch. But that's it's things like that that just drive the left insane that Trump does. But like we were talking about the average American, the ordinary person beforehand, they like seeing, someone just being blunt and telling it for how it is and what they truly think. I mean, who was the last president besides Trump that just actually said what he thought and was straightforward? That doesn't happen because that's not how you should be doing politics, but it's a new world. It's a new age. That's not Trump's approach. And for that very reason, that's why a lot of the liberals just absolutely hate his guts and cannot stand him one bit.
I know it. I got to tell you, I dig the approach. I don't think I'm right. I think I'm wrong, but I ain't mad. I ain't mad at the approach. Hey, last thing before we get to Mark Zeno, where else can a guy go from being irrelevant like Brock Purdy was and living with a bunch of buddies as the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers to a $265 million contract makes him one of the best success stories in all of sports. I mean, I would argue that Brock Purdy may be here's why I say I'm a little bit reluctant to say the most interesting success story, because one of the things that hit me when I was doing games at ESPN is the stories of the players. A lot of these players, man, they came from nothing, horrific families, and just to get to a college basketball team, just to get to a Michigan and Indiana and Illinois, Michigan State is an unbelievable achievement. Now on the pro level, at the NFL level, to go from Mr. Irrelevant during a time when the NFL scrutinizes every quarterback, during a time when every little kid that plays quarterback in every little junior high has all kind of different coaches with him, a strength coach, a throwing coach, a mental coach. And for Brock Purdy to go from Mr. Irrelevant, wow, it is the richest contract that the 49ers, who've been pretty good over the years, have ever given. He's going to sign a 5-year deal. Pays him, listen to this, $181 million in total guarantees, club record, $53 million per year, including $55 per year the first 3 years of the deal. Puts him among the highest paid quarterbacks. Good for Brock Purdy. Hey, Mark Zeno is going to join us next. Also, Scotty Scheffler, my opinion, is the toughest competitor in all of sports. If you watched yesterday, him one-stroke lead going on the back nine over Rahm. Rahm kind of crapped the bed. Aaron and I were texting each other, and then Scotty Scheffler just said, yeah, F this. I'm going to make a few birdies, end this. Man, what a stud. You know what he reminds me of? Reminds me a little bit of me. Be right back.